The following video has been made available with closed captions for the hard of hearing and in described video for the visually impaired. Please visit the description below for more details. I would say that looking for a new laptop to do work on is quite a difficult task. Many of the good laptops are really ridiculously expensive and fragile, while inexpensive laptops are too slow or are Chromebooks which cannot run all the applications or games that a traditional laptop can. So when I wanted to get a new computer to do work on or to bring to school, this was my choice laptop. This is the Lenovo Thinkpad X230. It is a former enterprise machine meant for business users. I bought it for around $200, and I personally think that it's a perfect laptop for people who don't really care too much about buying new machines. So this machine was released roughly 8 years ago, and gets absolutely dominated by modern machines when it comes to performance. But just using it, you wouldn't know it. It came with an i5 and 8 gigs of RAM, as well as a 240GB SSD running Windows 10. I think the i5 and 8 GB of RAM proved more than sufficient for browsing the web with plenty of tabs, and the 240GB SSD is good enough for storing most things. If you need more storage, the 2.5-inch drive is easily removed by just one screw, so it isn't really a big deal if you want to upgrade. Personally, I put Linux Mint because I wanted to try something new, but Windows 10 ran just fine before. The laptop also features really great I/O, especially with many new laptops now relying on dongles. This laptop features a full-size VGA port, one USB 2 port, and two USB 3 ports, something that is still lacking in some computers today. It also has an express card slot, as well as a full-size SD card slot, a full Ethernet port, and a headphone jack. For digital video out, they strangely put a DisplayPort mini port, which I have never seen any device or wire use ever, so HDMI would have been nice. However, an adapter only costs a couple of dollars. Aside from that, it has a physical networking switch and a lock slot. I think for most people, the internals and I/O should really not pose a problem. But how about external usability? The main thing I think that will stand out about this laptop is its thick chassis and heavier than average weight. Though larger than most laptops today, I think it makes up with it with its ability to replace the battery and its better durability. Most of the damage that I inherited from the previous owner has been cosmetic, with plastic pieces cracking and peeling, but the internals and overall build still feels really solid. It is also really easy to replace most of the parts that commonly need replacing or upgrading, which is nice. I guess easy repairs usually come with laptops meant for corporations. The keyboard is probably the most important aspect for most users, and I would say it's one of the best aspects of this laptop. It marks the first generation that changed from the iconic ThinkPad keyboard that fans always praised to this chiclet keyboard that you see here. Though I have never typed on the X220 keyboard, this keyboard has plenty of travel and feels really great. There are, however, things that are not so good about this keyboard. The layout is rather non-traditional, with the function key and control key switched. The new placement of the print screen button, though, is quite nice. When it comes to the trackpad, I would say it's pretty useless. It's really small and not very sensitive, so I would recommend trying to learn to use the track point. It will probably be a new concept for most, but it's really worth it. Fun tip for that: you don't have to press, just rest your index finger on it and tilt in the desired direction. Another thing to note is that processors back then were not very power efficient, so your battery life will probably be around 3 hours. You can, however, extend that really simply by buying a bigger battery or multiple, but that will increase your weight as well. The charging brick also isn't very large or heavy, which is nice. Finally, the screen's viewing angles are quite poor vertically. It does let you tilt the screen past 180 degrees, so I guess that is better than nothing. So, should you buy it? I think for people who do a lot of typing and need an inexpensive device, this is a no-brainer. It has everything you could possibly want. For graphic designers and digital creators in training, it is worth a look, but I think you'd be pushing its limits. Finally, for the gamer, you could play low-spec indie game titles, but this isn't going to be doing much more than that. To conclude, the Lenovo Thinkpad X230 isn't a beast of a laptop. However, it only makes very minor compromises while it delivers a great computing experience in a not-so-large package for an excellent price. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like more X230 content, next week we will be taking a more analytical approach to this laptop. Otherwise, if you would like to see more mobile museum content in general, stay tuned and subscribe to this channel.